In early July, a war scare in the Middle East sent a jolt of fear through India's market. The country's fear gauge, the India VIX, spiked toward 15. Traders braced for turmoil. Then, 3 days later, it had collapsed back to about 12, down more than 8% in a single session. And the Nifty finished the week almost exactly where it started. No crash. No boom, just fear inflating and then vanishing. That round trip is one of the most reliable patterns in markets, and today we will open up the machine behind it. Here is why this matters. The India VIX is not a mood ring. It is a number calculated from the prices of Nifty options, the contracts investors buy as insurance against big moves. When people rush to buy that protection, its price rises, and the VIX rises with it. So the VIX is really the market's live price of fear, how much people are paying right now to protect against turbulence over the next month. That means it often tells you more about emotion and the demand for insurance than about where prices are actually heading. And emotion, unlike a real crisis, tends to burn out fast. Let's walk the 3 days. Around July 8th, headlines of United States and Iran strikes hit the tape. Oil twitched, and Indian traders scrambled for downside protection, pushing the India VIX up toward 15, a jump of roughly a quarter in a few days. On July 9th, the Nifty slipped toward what some called a correction zone. Then, on July 10th, the mood flipped. Diplomacy cooled the conflict, oil eased back toward $76 a barrel, a global chip rally lifted sentiment, and the Nifty bounced more than 1% to close near 24,200. As the threat faded, all that expensive insurance was suddenly unwanted. That is when the crush begins. Here is the machine. Volatility has two speeds: the calm, everyday jitter, and the extra premium that piles on when a known event looms. Call that second piece event volatility. Step 1. A scary, on the calendar risk appears, a conflict headline, an election, a big data release. Step 2. Investors bid up options to hedge it, and implied volatility. The VIX inflates because sellers of that insurance demand more to take the risk. Step 3. The event passes, one way or another. The uncertainty resolves. Step 4. The reason to hold expensive protection disappears, so option prices deflate fast and the VIX gets crushed, often faster than it rose. The key insight is that the VIX can fall simply because time passed and the unknown became known. Even if nothing good actually happened, fear has a shelf life. So who cushioned the tape while fear inflated and deflated? Look at the flows. On July 10th, foreign investors were net buyers of about 2,600 crore rupees of Indian stocks, and domestic institutions bought roughly 2,000 crore more. Both sides buying at once is a stabilizer. It absorbs shocks and keeps the index from swinging as wildly as the fear gauge implied. That is why the VIX can whip around by a quarter of its value while the Nifty barely moves on the week, ending down about a quarter of 1%. From 24,270 to 24,207. The fear was real, but two-sided flows quietly kept the market boring. So here is the lens to keep. When you see the fear gauge spike, ask a simple question. Is this a genuine, lasting shock or the temporary premium around a known event? Because event fear tends to inflate quickly and get crushed just as quickly once the unknown becomes known. A high VIX is not a forecast that prices are headed lower. It is a snapshot of what protection costs today. And when strong two-sided flows are absorbing the shock, a screaming fear gauge can sit on top of an index that goes almost nowhere. Watch the flows in the calendar, not just the fear. This channel explains how markets work. It is educational, not financial advice.